All right, guys, for today's homework assignment, it's a little bit similar to yesterday. There's a website I want you to go to, and there's some population data that I want you to kind of sift through and think about. Um, so this page here, this is the kind of the main web page I want you to go to. There's a link in your Buzz agenda to this website, and right away, it'll take you to um, an age structure diagram of the world's population, and feel free to play around with this. I mean, if you want to go to any country in the world, I mean, you can go to, I don't know, Brazil if you want to, and look at Brazil's population data. You can go to the United States if you want to and look at our population data, and just look and see how that age structure, um, graph kind of changes from country to country. This is kind of showing us, like in the U.S., for example, that shape. It kind of has that kind of column shape up and down. That's kind of stable, growth. Whereas if you go to, I don't know, here we go. This is Tanzania. Here we have the, kind of the classic population pyramid shape. That tells us that this country is growing fairly rapidly. Whereas if you go to, let's see if we can find one here. Germany's kind of a good one. Here we go. Germany, it almost has like the upside down, where it gets kind of narrow at the bottom. That tells us that that country is probably not growing at all. In fact, it's probably on the decline, or very soon to be on the decline. So make sure you can kind of like determine that from different age structure graphs. Anyway, let's go back to the main page here. It was the world. So here's kind of where we are currently. There's our. This is a pretty up to date population number as far as how many people there are in the world. And I want you to answer some questions about this in the assignment, about the population of the world, like where we're projected. You can kind of tinker around with this little graph here and see, for example, let's say this is 2020. Where are we going to be at in 2025, 2030, even going back and figuring out like where we've been. You guys are all probably about what, 15, 16, 17 years old. So, I mean, think about like where this population was at, the year that you were born. I was born in 1972. So that's like all the way back here, whoops, that's 1970. Let's go 72. So this is where we were when I was born. I mean, look at how many people there were in the world back then compared to what there are, now in 2020, right? So, I mean, the world has really changed just in my lifetime, and it's also changed in your lifetime too. So, I want you to kind of look at that a little bit. For the second part of the assignment, you're going to scroll down, and there's a whole bunch of links to different, population statistics. Just let's just look at this first one here. Adolescent fertility rate. All right, this is births per 1,000 women from ages 15 to 19. So if you click on this, it'll bring you up to a map. And for most of these maps, 2015 is about as far as the data goes. That's okay. But they're kind of interactive. You can scroll around. You can see, for example, um, the adolescent fertility, births per 1,000 women in the United States is about 21. So you know, per 1,000 women, ages 15 to 19, there's going to be 21 births, this year, whatever. But you look at some other countries around the world, and those numbers are much higher. Especially when you go to Africa, and I want us today to kind of compare, a lot of these developing countries, especially in Africa. There's a lot of them in Central and South America, even in like Southeast Asia and the Middle East, there's some as well. But Africa is kind of the big continent, at least, as far as where there's a lot of developing countries in the world. Just comparing those to, let's say, the United States is kind of an interesting comparison. So, for the second half of the assignment today, I want you to get a lot of your answers from these different links. All right, so hopefully that'll help you with this assignment. All right, guys, have a good day today and have fun with this. Kind of tinker around with it. I think it's a really interesting assignment to kind of look at some different types of population data, not just for the world, but again, even by individual countries. All right, take care, guys.